Hi guys, it's day 18 today. Yeah, I've been really struggling today. I haven't actually left the flat since Saturday, so it's been 2 days. And I know that once I get into that habit of not leaving the flat, it kind of gets more difficult and more of a challenge to kind of do it. But I know that I need to do it eventually, so you know, I can't hide from it. But at the moment, yeah, I just feel like I need to, give myself some time. Um, so what I want to talk about today is I've mentioned my depression quite a lot over the last several videos. Gone into some detail about just how it makes me feel and how, the sense of hopelessness and just the low, like I just don't have any self-worth. I just don't believe in myself, and I don't expect anyone else to believe in me either. I just don't have any kind of self-worth or self-confidence in myself at all, and that is a direct symptom of my depression. What I really haven't spoken about much is my anxiety. So as well as being diagnosed with depression, I've been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, and pretty bad social anxiety disorder. And as much as they're separate diagnoses, I feel they're very connected. I feel like I wouldn't have one without the other because they do feed each other. So they've got some bizarre connection. So like when I'm depressed, I tell myself that I'm not worth anything, that people don't like me, and that in turn makes me anxious when I do meet people because I'm thinking that they're going to be judging me straight away, and then ultimately it leads to me not being able to do things, and then I get depressed because I feel like I should be able to do things like go to parties and socialize, and I can't do it. So it's like an anxiety depression cycle. It's just continuous. So for me, they're very much connected. And I think people see them as very separate things, and like I say, for me personally, they're not. They're very tied together. I also want to talk about, like, I do have a lot of anxiety attacks, and I want to just differentiate those from panic attacks. So people who suffer from panic attacks, a panic attack is a very kind of intense emotional reaction to something. It comes along just like that really quickly. It's really like I said, it's super intense. They normally only last up to 10 minutes and then they peak and then it dissipates. So after 10 minutes, you either because your body's like in a panic attack, it's your fight or flight instincts dialed all the way up to 11. So you're just primed, ready for action. You don't know what to do. You don't know what's going on. And generally after 10 minutes, they say that, your body kind of starts winding down from that panic attack. Also during a panic attack, your breath, you kind of like start hyperventilating almost. Your breath's kind of very shallow. Chest is tight. And you just feel kind of like, because I've had a panic attack, and you just feel like you just can't function at all. You just shut down completely. But as I say, it's a temporary, intense kind of experience. Whereas an anxiety attack, it's more kind of gradual. It's a gradual build-up. For me, it's a feeling of kind of dread that's just there, and it builds up slowly, 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 until it just feels like I can't bear it anymore. But it doesn't dissipate. It's more prolonged. It can last days or weeks. And certain things can help. So like distraction techniques, I find watching movies, I love watching movies because I kind of lose myself in a film, and while I'm focusing 100% on a film, it kind of distracts me from the other feelings. So I think that's why I watch so many films, if I'm being honest, because it's an escape for me. So anything like I find is an escape. So things like reading and TV shows, movies, that's the kind of things I like to do. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes, the anxiety attack's so bad that you just can't distract yourself from it. The feelings, the intensity of the feeling. And like I say, it can go on for days. And, you know, for me personally, it's very hard to pin down a trigger, or if there is even a trigger. Whereas a panic attack, I think maybe there is a trigger involved more so. So the times that I've had panic attacks is when I've been surrounded by people, and that's triggered me into a panic attack. With anxiety, it's just a constant feeling that's there all the time, and it kind of fluctuates in intensity, and it's hard to deal with. Going back to yesterday's video, I have medication as well that I take if I get too anxious. So I'm on sedatives, so I take diazepam or lorazepam, depending on how bad things are. I tend not to I try not to use the sedatives that I have, because again, like sleeping tablets, I don't want to become overly reliant, and they are very addictive. So yeah, I tend to just crack them out in emergencies, but the problem with that is I don't know when I'm going to need them the most, so I tend not to carry them around with me all the time, which I probably should do just in case. So I find when I really do need them, I don't have access to them, and that kind of makes me even more anxious, because I keep, you know, my punitive schemas kicking in, saying, you know, you're an idiot, you should have brought your medication with you, you know, it's your fault, it's your own fault for feeling this way. But yeah, it's really hard to live with on a daily basis. I find as well that, I don't know if anyone else has this, but I get anxiety hangovers a lot, you know, because over the course of a night when I'm trying to sleep and I'm tossing and turning, and, you know, I'm not getting a full, you know, sleep cycle, and when I am sleeping, it's kind of like I'm having anxiety dreams. When I say anxiety dreams, I don't mean nightmares. I don't really have nightmares that often. Anxiety dreams are kind of like dreams about being in situations that you feel you can't really control that well. So I have a lot of anxiety dreams about my job, you know, going into work, and that ties into another diagnosis I've been given, that my therapist thinks I've got imposter syndrome, which is it's where you feel like, you know, you're getting away with something, and like one day somebody's going to catch you out, even though you're not. You know, like my job, I think I can do my job reasonably well. You know, I've never had any kind of complaints about my job, and I'm still terrified every day I go in that I've done something wrong, or my boss is going to tell me off, or have a go at me about something. And it's never happened, but it's just this irrational fear that I've kind of fixated on. And every job I've had, if my boss ever approaches me to speak to me, I'm in kind of like anxiety mode, because I'm like, what have I done? What have I done wrong? Have they found out something about me that, you know, I don't know. And it's a horrible thing to have. It really is, because I find it, you know, it really affects me on a day-to-day basis. And the same with like my friends. It's like I get really anxious around my friends, thinking, you know, am I going to say something that is going to insult them or offend them, or are they not going to want to hang around with me anymore? And I think that ties into the whole not wanting to go to social events and be at parties and social occasions, because I don't want to be that guy that, you know, ruins everything and causes a problem or causes a scene. And I never have. It's just, like I say again, it's my own mind kind of playing tricks on me almost. Self-sabotaging me, you know, I do that a lot. But yeah, anxiety hangovers, I get those a lot, because I think I don't sleep very well. When I do sleep, it's kind of broken and full of anxiety. So you don't get like the nightmare where you're like, you know, really scared. It's just this feeling of anxiousness that's just constant. So yeah, I wake up in the mornings and I feel awful. I feel, you know, like I'm hungover, like I've been drinking. So, you know, I get headaches, I'm aching all over, you know, I get dry mouth, yeah, I feel really kind of out of it for a good hour or two after I wake up. And it's horrible. It's like most days I do that. And the worst thing about it is, when I do wake up every day, I always have like a 3 or 5 second period where, you know, I feel okay, you know, and then after that, it's like reality kind of just collapses on me again, and all these feelings come flooding back, all these feelings of like the hangover, the feelings of dread, you know, the depression, and it's hard to handle because of that. You know, it's almost like I've had a glimpse of what my life could be like without all those feelings. Like my brain's kind of tricked me into just feeling okay, and then it just kind of goes, oh, hang on a minute, we're not having this, and then just piles on again. So it's frustrating, but in a way it gives me hope because I know I can experience normality, I guess. So yeah, I just want to do a video today to talk about anxiety and how it affects me personally. I know a lot of people experience things differently, and I know that just because, you know, it's tough. It is. And again, it's a hard thing to explain to someone who doesn't understand and hasn't experienced it, and I get that. And I think one of the reasons I'm doing these videos is to try and just get the message across that, you know, it's not easy. And yeah. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there for now. Hopefully tomorrow I'll feel a bit perkier, and hopefully I'll have gone out. That's kind of my mission for tomorrow. I have to go anyway because I've got therapy, but yeah, see how it goes. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I hope you're doing okay.